supposed to be that hard for him?
You don't look like you're good.
How don't I look like I'm good?
I dealt with you with bombs.
And
this ain't Trey Bombs.
I'm chilling, literally. I'm sitting here. I don't even know why we got pulled over. He said shooting. Okay, what you want me to do?
Now, you know we don't do shit right when we show up, so gotta go through the motions now.
That's what I'm saying. What you want me to do? I didn't do nothing. I got picked up. I got on. I got on shorts, little jump shoes and shit. I'm not
Airman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Bright red shirt. How am I doing anything?
God damn. Guess ain't no privacy or space either.
Let me put my hands in my pocket. $430.
You ain't gotta worry about that. How many times did you pick a warrant? 2, 3?
Yeah, the first time it was just for the first time it was a failure to appear to go to court, and the second time they told me to pay it off or come back to court, and they ain't paid off in time. You know?
What was that at?
Noblesville. I was going through to Indianapolis.
You got that ass.
Speeding. Oh yeah, for sure.
So was that your friend or your girl?
That was my friend, but you know.
Now it's your girl? Little son.
You know.
One of those. That little side hustle.
Yes, sir.
Supervisor has arrived.
You supervisor?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what they explained to you or whatnot, but they did a U-turn on us, said we was coming from an area where it was just shooting at. First, he said he pulled us over because we was doing 45 in the lane, which we was only doing 40. Which, okay, if we was going fast, cool, it's a traffic infraction. Now, they getting aggressive, and I'm not trying to get aggressive, but at the same time, I know a little bit. Now, I might not know the law, but I know a little bit about it. And I know if you pull us over for a traffic infraction, that there's no reasonable cause for you to be pulling us out the car, searching us in the car and whatnot. And even if you do, okay, cool. But now you asking okay, my glove department and my trunk is locked. You know what I'm saying? I can call somebody out here to bring the key, but why? You prove nothing for me to have to do that. Like, there's no probable cause, no reason for anything besides us coming from a direction where there was just shot. We coming from his sister's house. Like, look what I'm in. I have custody of my 3 kids, which I have to take to school in the morning, you know? Okay. So if you feel, like I told them, if you feel like we was just in the area or that we might have been involved in the shooting, why not just use your test to check our hands for the gunpowder shit, you know? Yet I'm getting...
You'd rather have the smoke and pull.
The what?
Smoke and pull.
What is that?
You gun.
See, everybody all... Okay. Well,
I'm not really sure what your question is here, sir. What did you need me for?
Because they're trying to illegally searching my car on a traffic infraction.
Okay, it's not an illegal search.
So what am I being searched for? What crime have I committed?
This is basically a Terry v. Ohio situation we've got here, and it's searching the passenger compartment for officer safety here at this point.
They're searching a what?
Passenger compartment here, okay? I don't need to explain case law to you out here, but they're acting in professional manner out here, okay?
They're actually not.
Yes, they are, okay? What are we going to do here?
Well, I mean...
Mr. Britt, you said you had the key.
I said I can call somebody out here to get the key.
Is that what he said, Kerry?
He already said you had the key.
You told me 3 times.
I can record it right now.
Hold up.
I can record it right now.
Fort Wayne Police.
Yes, I'm trying to speak with a gang and violent crime unit detective.
I will have to see if there's anybody in there. Hold on one moment, okay?
Thank you.
Fort Wayne Mayor Tom Henry and Allen County Commissioners Nelson Peters, Therese Brown, and Rich Beck would like to thank you for your call and for your patience, and would like to take this brief opportunity to inform you of city and county news and area happenings. We welcome.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Who am I speaking with?
This is Sergeant Hensler.
Okay. My name is Andre, and I'm calling. This is the Gang of Violent Crimes Unit, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I'm calling because I believe there's a discrepancy on a search warrant that I have here, and I'm trying to find out the particular Gang of Violent Crime Unit officer that signed the search warrant. I can give you the control number, but that's the information I'm seeking.
Well, I don't give out that information. You need to contact our Records Division of Subpoena to get anything out reference to search warrant.
Well, no, the search warrant has already been released.
Well, then you can contact them. I'm not giving out any information reference to search warrant.
Well, I just need to know who signed it, that's all.
I don't have any search warrant in front of me, and if you need to get a copy of it, you can contact our Records Division.
Well, and I don't mean to go in circles with you, but I have the search warrant. It was already given to the person whose vehicle was searched, and that search warrant on it, it did not have the signature of the police officer. That's all I'm looking for.
You can't tell by reading the affiant in the search warrant?
Well, I would if I could, but that portion was missing. All that was put inside the vehicle was basically the cover page of the search warrant. The probable cause affidavit was not included, and then on that cover page, there was no section where the police officer's signature was, where it was supposed to be. And so that and so that's why I was calling you, is because I'm trying to find out who this police officer was that applied for this search warrant. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay, well, you can contact our Records Division with Subpoena to reference that. Then I'm not giving you any information. I don't know who you are. I don't give you any information.
I mean, I can tell you who I am. I have nothing to hide. I'm just trying to find. I mean, I don't know why the police department is being so evasive about this. I'm just asking for some basic information here.
Are you the suspect in this or the victim in this?
No, the suspect, he's behind bars right now. He's sitting in Allen County Jail. I'm somebody. Yeah, I'm a third party.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to see what the process was. I was actually trying to verify that the Fort Wayne Police Department was doing everything properly. I assumed that they were, and so
he's got an attorney. I assume if he's in jail, right?
Right.
Would his attorney mind you meddling into his business, I wonder? Or would his attorney maybe think you're interfering with him?
Well,
and making the case harder for him.
Right. I mean, if either was the case, if the attorney thought that I was meddling or interfering, neither of which I believe are illegal for me to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, regardless of what his attorney thinks, the search warrant process is supposed to be a public activity that's any member of the public can ask questions about, right? And so that's who I am. I'm a member of the public, and I'm asking questions about this public process that the Fort Wayne Police Department initiated against this man whose name is William Britt. And so I believe that I've found a Indiana state law that requires the Fort Wayne Police Department to sign these search warrants, and that was not done for this vehicle search warrant on September 20th, 2019.
Okay. Like I said, if you would like a different copy of it with his signature on it, you could subpoena records, and records can get you a copy of it, okay?
Right. I have gone down that road, and I'm fighting that battle right now. I was already stonewalled that by the law department regarding that. Where
so you talked to our city's law department, and you want me to go around my city's law department?
No. What I was trying to do.
You just said you were stonewalled by the law department.
Well,
so you want to circumvent our law department to come to me? Like I'm going to circumvent the law department?
No, you didn't let me finish. What I was stonewalled about, I guess I should have been more clear. I was stonewalled about the probable cause affidavit itself. And so that I've accepted that argument from them. I haven't I'm not trying to bring that, swindle you in any way and try to get you to give me the probable cause affidavit. That's not what I'm after. I just want to know, once again, which police officer signed the search warrant. That's all.
And I've already explained to you what you need to do to have that taken care of, correct?
Right. Okay. Well, if you don't mind, you said you're a sergeant, right?
Correct.
Okay. If I could just get your name and badge number, sir.
My name is Hensler. My badge number is 1690.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. Have a good night.
All right.
Yep. Goodbye.
All this on a traffic stop.
Go ahead and invite them both to Miranda, so that they know. Because if this is a case where they're locking the glove box, it'll be a felony obstruction.
Before I ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you as evidence in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any further questions and to have a lawyer with you during questioning. If you are unable to employ a lawyer, one will be appointed to advise you before and during any questioning. You have the right to terminate this interview at any time. Do you understand these rights as I've explained them to you?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Rowland, do you understand your rights?
That's right.
Did you trade around?
Why you keep asking me that hard time?
You don't look like you're good.
How don't I look like I'm good?
I dealt with you with bombs.
And
This ain't Trayvon.
I'm chilling, literally. I'm sitting here. I don't even know why we got pulled over. He said shooting. Okay, what you want me to do?
Now, you know we don't do shit right when we show up, so gotta go through the motions now.
That's what I'm saying. What you want me to do? I didn't do nothing. I got picked up. I got on. I got on shorts, little jump shoes and shit. I'm not
Chairman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Bright red shirt. How am I doing anything?
God damn. Guess ain't no privacy or space either.
And put my hands in my pocket. $430.
You ain't gotta worry about that.
Yeah, the first time it was just for the first time it was the failure to appear to go to court, and the second time they told me to pay it off or come back to court, and I ain't paid off in time.
Where was that at?
Noblesville. I was going through to Indianapolis.
Got that ass.
Speeding. Oh yeah, for sure.
So was that your friend or your girl?
That was my friend, but you know.
Now it's your girl? Little son.
You know.
One of those? Got a little side hustle?
Yes, sir.
Supervisor has arrived.
You supervisor?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what they explained to you or whatnot, but they did a U-turn on us, said we was coming from an area where it was just shooting at. First he said he pulled us over because we was doing 45 in the lane, which we was only doing 40. Which, okay, if we was going fast, cool, it's a traffic infraction. Now, they getting aggressive, and I'm not trying to get aggressive, but at the same time, I know a little bit. Now I might not know the law, but I know a little bit about it, and I know if you pull us over for a traffic infraction, that there's no reasonable cause for you to be pulling us out the car, searching us in the car and whatnot. And even if you do, okay, cool. But now you asking okay, my glove department and my trunk is locked. You know what I'm saying? I can call somebody out here to bring the key, but why? You prove nothing for me to have to do that. Like, there's no probable cause, no reason for anything besides us coming from a direction where there was just shot. We coming from his sister's house. Like, look what I'm in. I have custody of my 3 kids, which I have to take to school in the morning, you know? Okay. So if you feel, like I told them, if you feel like we was just in the area or that we might have been involved in the shooting, why not just use your test to check our hands for the gunpowder shit, you know? Yet I'm getting...
You'd rather have the smoke and pull.
The what?
Smoke and pull.
What is that?
Your gun.
See, everybody all... Okay. Well...
I'm not really sure what your question is here, sir. What did you need me for?
Because they're trying to illegally searching my car on a traffic infraction.
Okay, it's not an illegal search.
So what am I being searched for? What crime have I committed?
This is basically a Terry v. Ohio situation we've got here, and it's searching the passenger compartment for officer safety here at this point.
They're searching a what?
The passenger compartment here, okay? I don't need to explain case law to you out here, but they're acting in professional manner out here, okay?
They're actually not.
Yes, they are, okay? What are we going to do here?
Well, I mean... Mr. Britt, you said you had the key.
I said I can call somebody out here to get the key.
Is that what he said, Kerry?
He already said he had the key. He told me 3 times.
I can record it right now.
Good, hold up.
I can record it right now. All right, look, everybody want to know what happened at the end of my video about these prejudiced, I don't know what to say, they the terrorist police. But at the end of it, I called the supervisor. He came out. He was pretty much dumbfounded, didn't know what to say, whose side to take, but admitted I was right. And he asked his officers what did they want to do about the situation since they did not have the warrant. Well, they huddled up. You know, it wasn't no pigskin, but the pigs was there. They decided to send us home walking, let us say go free, towed my vehicle. My lawyer said it was an illegal search and tow. That's what they did. It's been over 72 hours and I still haven't had word on my vehicle. Not to mention, they filed false paperwork to the junkyard that it was supposed to have been towed to. Now they're saying that my car is not there, yet in their computer is still saying it's there pending investigation. 72 hours. Over 72 hours ago. You tell me they not dirty. Fort Wayne Police Department called there. They don't know where is it at. Wow. 2010 ES350 Lexus, color gray, just disappears.
Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today we're going to answer a viewer question from Wilson in Dover, Delaware. Wilson wrote to me, he said, can cops make me open my locked glove compartment? And the answer is, cops can't force you to do it. They're not going to force you to do it. If you are stopped and they want to get into your locked glove compartment, they're going to take your keys and they're going to unlock it, and then they're going to search what's in the glove compartment. So as a practical matter, I don't think you're going to be forced to open your locked glove compartment. The question is it a violation of your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable searches and seizures? And I would say that largely depends on the facts of the case. You know, if you have a case where the police have you on video robbing a bank with a gun, and in the video they can see that you ran out to your car, placed the gun and the money in the glove compartment, locked it, hopped in the driver's seat and sped away, then I would say that there's a pretty good basis either for them to stop you and open the glove compartment, or to stop you and get a search warrant and get that glove compartment opened. So it depends on the facts of the circumstances. I think that what you should know as an American citizen is that you do have a Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable searches and seizures. And if you're asked to consent to a search, there's a police now, I don't know if you can hear that, they're probably coming to get my glove compartment, but if you're asked to consent to a search of your vehicle, a search of your glove compartment, or in your home, a search of your home, you do not have to give consent to a search. You have a right as an American citizen to be secure in your places, in your home, in your bedroom, in your car, and so you have a right to refuse to consent to the search. If the police have a good reason to search whatever it is, your car or your home, if they have a good reason, then they can apply to a judge, to a court, and get a warrant, and use the warrant to justify the search. And that's how it ought to be. It should not be police officers making the decision that they're just going to go into people's homes and into people's locked glove compartments and what have you on their own. It should be something that's supervised by a law-trained judge. So I would say it depends on the circumstances if they can go into your locked glove compartment, but as a practical matter, as an attorney, I would never consent to a search of my car or my home, and I would suggest to you as an American citizen that you should never consent to that sort of a search either. Thanks for watching. Hope this answered the question, and keep watching. If you have a question for me about the law or procedure under the law, feel free to send me an email. My email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com.
Video of the arrest was posted by Britt on YouTube. He alleges the officers performed an illegal search of his vehicle.
Let me talk to him. By the way, this is his little brother in the car.
How are you doing?
And he's a minor.
Okay.
So yeah, they're standing here. Not doing shit. Arresting him, saying there's... Why is he getting arrested?
He has probable cause on files, apparently.
Was there a warrant for his arrest?
I just explained it to you. He had a probable cause on file for his arrest.
Are you the arrest?
One more time,
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It keeps blowing right across my uniform.
I'm sorry. Are you the arresting officer?
No.
So you just pulled up his backup?
Yep.
Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. What's taking so long?
They're running your license. If they're issuing citations, they have to write them out.
Of course, nobody likes accountability. Nobody does. But it's the duty of the citizenry to keep law enforcement accountable. You may be thinking in your law enforcement ass head that that's not true, but you're fucking stupid if you think you guys are the only entities that are allowed to investigate you. Like, if you think your own police department is the end-all be-all when it comes to how to discipline you and how to keep you accountable, you're fucking stupid and woefully ignorant.
Fort Wayne Police.
Yes, sir. Is there a supervisor available I could chat with?
I'm a police officer. I can try to help you out before I get a supervisor. What's going on?
Okay. I had a question about search warrants being used by the Fort Wayne Police Department. And there's a search warrant that I have here, and I just had some questions about it.
Okay, I can try to help you.
All right. Well, the one that I have here, it was not signed by a police officer. I was wondering, is that a policy of the Fort Wayne Police Department to have the police officer sign the search warrant?
Were you given the search warrant by a police officer?
No, it's actually not a search warrant that was executed on my property. It was somebody else, but it was given to me.
Okay. So what's your interest in it if it's not a search warrant based upon your property?
Right. I know at first that sounds strange, but my first interest is just the fact that it looks like there's some discrepancies here. I mean, I'm not any lawyer or anything, but just looking at it off the top, it didn't look like...
Well, do you know if it was served and officers searched the premise?
Yes. No, I do know that it was served. The search has already been conducted. It was actually a search of a vehicle, and that vehicle has been returned to the individual.
Okay. I mean, I can't speak for any of the officers on there. Is there a name on there?
The only thing that's on here, there's no name that I can read because the only signature on here, it says Judge, Allen Superior Court, but all it is just somebody's handwriting in cursive. I don't know what that means. And then the only identifying information...
Well, that's probably a signature, isn't it?
It's a signature, but there's no type below it, so that you know the name of the judge. So I don't know even who the judge was.
It should be.
Exactly, and that's why I'm calling, because both the judge's name was missing and the officer's signature was also missing from the search warrant.
Well, there could be another page.
That's a very good question, which I've started an open records request in regards to that, so I'm going to see where that leads me. But in the meantime, for the search warrant portion that I do have, and this is the only document that was left in this individual's vehicle, there was nothing else. I do have some questions about this one piece of paper that was left in the car.
Okay. Was the owner of the vehicle on scene? He must have been served and notified of the whole search warrant process.
From what he told me, and I guess this is hearsay between from him to me to you, but from what he told me is that the police department seized his vehicle, made him and his brother walk home, and then 72 or 96 hours later, he was told to go to some, impound lot, and he went to pick up his vehicle, and then inside the vehicle, the search warrant was sitting inside the vehicle, but that's as far as it went. There was no paperwork served to him personally. It was just the warrant was just sitting in the car.
Right, he was probably notified on scene that they were going to take his vehicle, impound it for a 72-hour hold, and then be notified for when he's going to pick it up.
Right, and
he might have been given different paperwork besides just a piece of paper left in the vehicle. You know what I mean? That could just be like a middle page or back page. I would think it'd be more than one piece of paper. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not involved in the incident, you know.
No, I understand that, and I'm not trying to get you involved in the incident.
Right.
Beyond the fact that you're a police officer, but I'm just having a general conversation here, not getting into the details of.
Right. Most of those search warrants are signed and done by detectives and served and all that stuff by the detectives.
Okay.
So I'm only a police officer, and I don't have much knowledge of type of search warrants for vehicles. I know Detective Bureau gets on. They should be here about like 6:30.
Okay.
If you want to call back, and the other desk ladies, they're not police officers, they're just civilians that work the desk. But if you call and ask for a detective, based upon this search warrant, and I mean, since you're not even involved in the incident, I'm not sure that they'll even answer your questions, but I mean, you could try.
Well, and I understand where you're coming from when you say that phrase there, where, well, since you're not involved in the incident, you can't be given information, but
right.
Despite the fact that I'm not involved in the incident.
Yeah, you just got a general question about a overall search warrant
and the procedures of them, because regardless of the fact I'm not involved in this particular incident, I still want to know the Fort Wayne Police Department's procedures regarding search warrants, because when I look at this search warrant, from what I'm looking at here, and I'm not going to keep you on the phone all night and try to get all legal with you here, but I did look up one particular Indiana code, and I can read off the particular section number if you'd like, but I've got it right here in front of my face, and it's very specific, and it shows that a police officer and a judge is both supposed to sign the search warrant, and it's right there in the Idaho code, the Indiana state code. So this isn't something that should even be debated or discussed. It's supposed to be state law. Yeah,
like I said, someone could probably direct you better. by speaking to a detective. So I would call at 6:30 when they get on and see if you can talk to one, and they can better answer your question.
Okay. Would you be able? I just want to double check if this even pulled up anything. I don't need for you to give me any information. You're free to do so if you'd like. Of course, I'd be happy to hear it. But I just want to make sure that this Fort Wayne Police Department control number actually is attached to something that exists. If you don't mind, I'd like to give you that control number. If you have a computer there, if you could look it up for me, just to make sure that this control number even exists.
Yep, go ahead with it.
Okay, 19 F as in Frank 116017.
All right, let me look it up. Yeah, I mean, it exists. It's under there with all the information and people involved and everything.
Okay, now, can I ask you this? Does it show that the search warrant has been concluded and whatever investigation is concluded, or could you tell me or not if there's still some sort of investigation that's still open?
I wouldn't be able to see that because I'm not investigating it. They have that closed to the certain officers that are involved. So another outside officer looking in can't see that information.
Okay, is that normal, or I don't know if that's even...
Yeah.
Oh, that is normal.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you chatting with me about this issue, and if you don't mind, could I get your name and badge number?
Yep, first name Brandon. Brandon. Last name Burnham. Burn as in Nora. Ham as in Mary.
And you said the first letter was B as in boy?
Yep.
Okay.
And then my badge number is 1991. F as in Frank.
Okay. And are you a regular patrol officer? Are you a corporal? What's your rank?
Yep, just a patrolman.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service, sir.
Yep, thanks. Have a good one.
You too. Goodbye.
We're standing in front of Independence Hall in Philadelphia. This is where America was born. In 1776, the Continental Congress met here, and Thomas Jefferson drafted the Declaration of Independence. Congress approved it on July 4th, and that was the beginning of the American nation. Of course, that didn't take us all the way to where we are today. After the Declaration came the Revolutionary War, and after that, the Articles of Confederation, our first failed attempt at a national government. And in 1787, delegates from 12 states met again at Independence Hall to propose revisions to the Articles. What emerged, after months of secret deliberation, was the Constitution.
I found a discrepancy on a particular document that I just wanted to discuss with someone.
What document?
It was a search warrant.
Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out who you need to talk to. Do you have an issue with the officers that did the search, or?
In a way I do, because there was something that I believe should have been done that was not done, but I don't need to speak to them directly. If I could just speak to someone like a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, somebody like that.
Let me see if I have anybody available in internal affairs. Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
Sir?
Yes.
Sergeant Johnson is in, but he's not in his office right at the moment. Can I put you into his voicemail and he can call you back?
Sure. I mean, I could wait.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Amanda Johnson is not available. Please leave a message after the tone. When you are finished, you may hang up or press 1 for special options.
Hi, my name is Andre. I wanted to contact the Fort Wayne, Indiana Police Department regarding a search warrant which was executed on September 20th, 2019. The control number for this search warrant, the Fort Wayne Police Department control number is 19F116017. Again, that's 19F116017. That search warrant was a search warrant for a vehicle that was owned by William Roy Darnell Britt. It was a 2010 Lexus sedan. It was gray, a gray Lexus, 2010. And again, the search warrant was executed on September 20th, 2019. The reason I wanted to leave you this voicemail is I want to let you know that this particular search warrant did not have the signature of an Indiana police officer on it. I'm assuming that would be a Fort Wayne police officer, but I guess it could be any Indiana police officer that was executing the warrant. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is because I was looking at a particular code in the Indiana Rules of Criminal Procedure. I don't know if that's exactly how you say it, but anyway, it's the statutes that deal with criminal procedure in Indiana. And in Indiana Code 35-33-5-3, there's a particular statute that deals with the form for a search warrant. And at the very bottom of that form, it specifically says signature of law enforcement officer, which is underneath where the signature for the judge and the execution date is entered by the judge. And on the search warrant that I just mentioned, with the control number of the Fort Wayne Police Department control number of 19F116017, that particular search warrant that was done on that Lexus on September 20th, again, it did not have the signature of a Fort Wayne Police Department officer or any Indiana police officer. So I just wanted to let you know that, and that I feel that that's a discrepancy, and I want to see what your response is to this issue that I'm bringing up. All right. There's some other issues I have regarding this search warrant. I had some questions for you, or whoever I could speak to about this search warrant. There's some other information I'm looking for regarding this warrant. So if you could please call me back. My number is 915-781-4330. That's 915-781-4330. My name is Andre, A-N-D-R-E-I. And again, my cell phone number is 915-781-4330. Thank you, sir. If you could please call me back at your convenience. Have a good weekend. Hopefully you can call me today on Friday, or someone, a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, or somebody like that could please call me. But if not, I understand. But if someone could please call me today, that'd be great. Again, my cell phone number is 915-781-4330. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
One concern of the framer is about discretionary enforcement by officers. You can't just tell officers in the field, go out and use your best judgment. Go out and look around for, for publishers' papers that prove that this person's been slandering the king, or look for these untaxed, imported, smuggled goods. Go out and do your best. That doesn't cut it. Telling a government agent, just go out and do your best. You've got to actually articulate what their job is and how they're to carry it out. They've got to operate under articulated standards. So they've got to operate according to law, not just according to use your best judgment. we've got here on the board the text of the U.S. Constitution, the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And notice that it's split into half. There's the first half, highlighted here in red. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. And then there's the last half, highlighted in green, that says, no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So an interesting historical question here is, what's the relationship between the first half and the last half, between the red stuff and the green stuff? Some people say, well, the green stuff tells you exactly what it means to be a reasonable search or seizure. A reasonable search or seizure has to be supported by a warrant. The warrant has to particularly describe where you're going to search and when you're going to search it. And it's got to be supported by probable cause. The government's got to give you some reason to believe that they will find things there. They got to be able to articulate it to a judge beforehand. So that's one school of thought. That is, the green text, the last half of the text, tells us what the first half means. You interpret reasonableness in light of the warrant and probable cause clauses. The second school of thought is that these are two separate thoughts, that they are relevant to unreasonable searches and seizures, but that warrants and probable cause are not the principal or the only way of establishing that a search or seizure could be reasonable. So that the red half, the first half of the clause, is just a freestanding requirement of reasonableness. And then an afterthought, oh, by the way, once you get these warrant things, they've got to be limited because governments have abused warrants in the past. They've used them as a way to try to defend themselves from juries who were awarding £3,000 against government agents who were searching printers' offices. And so we don't want government agents trying to use warrants as this kind of overbroad defense against the righteous indignation of a jury who tells the government they have to stay within bounds. So two schools of thought. One of them is reasonableness is standing on its own, and warrants are discussed here as a way of limiting warrants. The other school of thought is that warranted searches are really the quintessential reasonable search. We're going to watch how these different thoughts play out over time in the law of search and seizure, and how these arguments play in today whenever we have a new government innovation for how to collect information. You can guarantee this: if somebody says, "Why, this is a general warrant," it's not a compliment. It's meant as an insult. It's meant as a way of saying, no, this is uncontrolled, unexplained government intrusion into private lives, and we've got to stop it here. So they're trying to be James Otis or John Adams all over again when they're claiming that today's effort is a general warrant.
We're gonna make sure they do what they supposed to do. You hear me, world? I want y'all to view this shit.
Hey Trayvon, go ahead and step out of the car for me.
What's the cause of that?
I'll explain in just a minute. Let me. Oh, just touch down. No, you're not totally.
Huh? What's going on? Huh?
It's alright. You can record.
I know. Well, I'm not consenting to nobody searching my car, even though it ain't nothing in here.
Well, here's the thing, my man.
I don't have no gang affiliation.
We have a lot of alerts. So
Alerts about what?
we have the right to do a protective sweep.
No, you.
Yeah, we do.
Not for no search and seize, not for nothing. Okay, that's cool, but at the same time,
Step out for me.
at the same time, listen, you're not supposed to open my door.
You can step out for me.
You're not supposed to open my door.
Well, let me tell you this. You're just escalating things because...
I'm not escalating anything. I can ask for a supervisor if I want to.
You can.
Because technically, y'all not supposed to search my car for no traffic infraction.
We're not searching. We're just doing a protective sweep.
What is a protective sweep? I'm not a gang member.
Okay. Did anybody here say that you're a gang member?
He just did.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, step out of the car so we can patch it in.
I don't mind stepping out of the car, but you know what?
All right, well, if you want a supervisor here, I'll get one started this way.
Well, I wish you would.
I will.
Because, I mean, I'm going to apply under duress because I feel like y'all getting a little too aggressive with me.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let y'all know.
Put your hands on the back of your head for me.
Y'all just told him the car.
Oop. Hang on. We're going to set this down, okay?
Technically, y'all not supposed to pat me down nor go on my car.
Okay.
Whether y'all doing a search and sweep.
Feet out.
If that's the case, then y'all, basically what y'all doing is y'all picking out who y'all want to, because there was 1,000 cars going up and down the street. Y'all pulled either one of them over. Y'all seen two young black men driving, and y'all chose to pull them over.
Shots fired right where you're coming from.
All right, go ahead and step back here.
Shots fired?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't us.
Hey, grab your smoke, man. Get the keys. There you go.
Where's my smoke?
Right here. Oh, watch out. Don't crush it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Harry, you want to be protected? Yeah.
How does this standard get applied today? Normally, it's state Supreme Courts that are asked to define probable cause. Somebody's been arrested, and the court is asked to exclude that evidence because they say the police officers committed an unreasonable search and seizure. It was not based on probable cause. They didn't have enough reason. And so the court has to decide, well, what is probable cause, and did they have enough here? Along the way, they describe probable cause in terms very much like Brinegar. They often quote Brinegar and use the language we've already talked about as their starting point. So we get standard formulations like this. I'll read from a standard kind of mainstream definition, this one from South Dakota. The court says we need facts and circumstances such that a reasonably prudent person would conclude that an offense has been or is being committed. And if it's a search for property, you'd also say, and the property exists at the place designated. And you have to decide, and you have to make that determination, quote, to a probability. So you got to have some significant, substantial probability that a crime has been or is being committed, and therefore we can justify an arrest or a search for evidence of that crime. That's the kind of formulation that you often see. That's kind of the standard, the mainstream definition. There are some variations on that theme. So there are some states that emphasize that the person evaluating the claim is a magistrate, a judicial officer, somebody who sees a lot of these cases and can bring some expertise to the case and might see some significance in some small facts that others might not see. Other states will emphasize that the person making the presentation is an expert police officer, somebody who has learned over time the meaning of small cues in conduct, and therefore we can put some extra weight in the fact that the police officers found it to be suspicious. So we'll see that kind of discussion of police expertise in a number of these cases.
They got all the power and all the money and all the ability to cut deal. It ain't a tough job. They do it and they make it tough and they make it seem tough to manipulate the jury. So when a search warrant happens, you need to realize it's not a big end of the world. It's not the end all. It's not that we had all this powering evidence to get this search warrant. And the other problem you need to realize is when somebody seals a search warrant, they really don't want to get out. Now there's a reason to seal a search warrant. If I do a search warrant and it's an ongoing investigation, there's certain search warrant becomes public once I file the return. When I do a search warrant, I search, I seize evidence. When I seize that evidence, I turn that evidence into court, say this is what I got from this search warrant. And then that gives my credibility later that I've served 20 search warrants and all 20 search warrants have resulted in evidence. So that gives me a little bit more credibility when I go get another warrant. Well, what it also does is it makes this a government document. Government document is public, so now people can get access to that information. If I use confidential sources or confidential information that will compromise my ongoing investigation, I can have this warrant sealed. And once I have it sealed, here's the problem. There's no limit on how long. I just have it sealed. Now nobody can get that document. When a warrant is sealed, questions need to be popping in people's mind. Why is this warrant sealed? Are they really, because cops seal it all the time just for GP, because they don't want to know it's a shitty warrant, because they don't want to get out, for whatever reason they want. They just try, a lot of people, crooked cops, I know a lot of cops that will seal warrants for the main purpose just because they don't want somebody reading their shit. Because all their warrants are the same, they change the names, they're all the same, they're BS, and the next thing you know, people are going to jail who really aren't guilty, but the prosecution loves them because they get a conviction, they get somebody to go to jail. So, a search warrant, not a big deal, easy to get, there's flaws. It's better when cops get warrants because it shows, it gets other people involved. There's not just a cop making all the decisions independently and that he has to justify. He puts it on paper, he has it reviewed by the prosecution. Prosecution, since they're defending a warrant, I don't know if I covered this, they have to review it before it goes to the judge. A lot of judges will ask, what DA reviewed it? There's usually a spot on my warrants that says DA review and they have to sign it to show that it went to DA before I bring it to the judge. Because the DA may read something in there and go, oh man, you put that in there and if I go to court, man, that's going to bite me in the butt. Take that out. I don't like that. Because I put it in there because it's true, but they don't want it in there because they're like, it doesn't help the case. You can get the warrant without it. I don't want to give that up. If the defense gets this, I don't want them knowing that we know this. Again, there's that manipulation of the system that always goes on. So I guess my point on the search warrant was whether this guy had a fake search warrant. They said they went and got all these people. To get a search warrant is fairly easy, but if you do something really intrusive, like if I go try to get a warrant to where I want to do a cavity search on somebody, I have to have pretty good evidence on why I think there's dope or gun or something up that guy's butt in order to get a hospital to force a cavity search and to start doing a probe in that guy's butt to find something. Normally what you would do is you would lock that person up in a padded cell where no place he can get rid of something, and you would give him on potty watch and he would shit in a bucket, and then after he shit you would take that out, search the shit, and then when you found what he shitted out you would know it was up his butt. If you kept him in there for 3 days and didn't come out, well, he was under constant video surveillance. We saw that he wasn't getting it and reading it. I mean, I was working Vallejo, I'd be chasing guys, they had crack cocaine in their pocket, running behind them with a cop. They'd pull that shit, they carry it in their ass, because a lot of cops will miss it. If they got a fat ass, it'll wrap around those little balls. And I'd see guys pull it out of their ass while they're running, shove it in their mouth and swallow it. And then people wonder why cops are cynical about how sick people are. Alright, hopefully that helps you understand a search warrant a little bit. Went a little long. If you understand the process of government, the key players, how it works, hopefully you'll understand how easy it is for you to get caught up in that system and get eaten up by that system that you think has checks and balances, is there to protect you when it really isn't. I mean, I think we give out way too many guilty verdicts. I think we need to make prosecutors do much better jobs in court, and they should not be getting... The more that juries come back with not guilty, the more it forces prosecutors to come with better cases. So they stop this harassing citizens and going after every case they can and throwing shit against the wall and see what sticks. Because that's where prosecution are at. Government's so big now, we have so many attorneys, we have so much government, we have to justify all these jobs, we have to justify all these cops, we have to justify all these prosecutions. Well, now they're just taking cases they shouldn't. If jury people got together and started voting not guilty more, prosecutors would change their behavior and say, you know what, we're not going to prosecute. Defense attorneys would say, you know what, if you want to take this to trial, we can, but you're going to lose. Don't be trying to pull the shit on the jury in our eyes. That would keep the system. The system has to be kept in check by the people. Whether it's through the jury system voting not guilty on everything. If you want to send a message to a crooked DA, you have every jury in that jurisdiction start voting not guilty on every trial, no matter what it is, and you take away that prosecutor's ability to get convictions. Defense attorneys won't cut deals with them. Defense attorneys will want to go to court, and they'll know they're going to lose, so the prosecution will have to change what he does, and that's how you hold a district attorney, prosecutor, whatever they call them, city attorney. That's how you hold them accountable. You get the citizens together and you all start voting not guilty. That's how you put them in check. Government needs checks and balances. They need to be checked by the people. When you let government grow, you give them all the power, you submit, and you just go along with them, that's when they get oppressive, they get tyrannical, they get crazy, they start doing things they shouldn't be doing. because the people do not hold them in check. Our system is based on a voluntary compliance system. It only works when the citizens comply voluntarily. As soon as the citizens say no and we stop voluntary compliance, the system stops. People don't realize the power they have. It's kind of like there's a picture to where the people are standing on one end of a board and the other end of the board is over a cliff, and it has one person that's labeled the government. If the people step off that board, the government fails and it falls. So the people have the power. If they exercise it, use it, and hold the government in check. When they don't care, they get busy, they're too worried about paying their taxes, too worried about keeping their health care, too worried about Democrat, Republican, this race, that sex, this gender, this sexual orientation. When they get all the people involved in all this other shit to divide us, that's when government grows and the people fail.
Sir. We're having this discussion in a historic room. Almost exactly 25 years ago, the first national conference on computer-assisted reporting was held on this campus, in this building, using every room in the building. And in those days, journalists had horror stories of trying to get access to data, if it was even in computer-readable form. A lot of it was paper records. FOIA requests were being denied or delayed on purpose. Records were being declared closed off when, even by statute, they were open. And I'm somewhat encouraged to see there's been a lot of progress, but I'm also very discouraged to see 25 years later, people in this room are still having the same kinds of problems that people were having in 1990, even with a public access counselor that did not exist in 1990. And it seems to me that there's one group in the state that continuously monitors bill drafts. That's the Hoosier State Press Association. Steve Key is general counsel. In a recent column, he said that he flagged more than 60 bills in the current legislative session that would have had a negative effect on open records or open meetings, or negatively affect transparency of government in some way. So the question is, and it's an open question, it seems to me the real danger in transparency is what legislators do naturally. And so how can we offset that? Now, one thing that happened quite by circumstance, my wife at one time happened to be a lawyer who was a bill drafter for the Legislative Services Agency. And she'd heard me rant on open records for a very long time. And when she was asked to draft a bill that mandated the collection of data, she would automatically add a clause to the bill draft that made the data available to the public. And when the legislator would look at the draft, well, what's this? And then she would explain it to them, and the legislator could either accept that clause or not. Usually they did. Well, she's retired. There's nobody doing that anymore as far as I know. So what does the panel think that can be done to further the progress of open records? I mean, we've got portals, we've got an access counselor, but records are still being denied. I mean, what's the answer?
In this screencast, we'll discuss the Fourth Amendment and its protection from unreasonable searches and seizures. First, though, let's look at the historical context of the Fourth Amendment. Under English law, the saying was, if the constable blunders, the crook should not go free. In other words, if the police made a mistake, it shouldn't result in the charges being dismissed. Now, this was a problem because it encouraged the introduction of evidence as trustworthy when it wasn't. Whenever a police officer violated someone's rights, they could just say, whoops, I made a mistake, and the charges wouldn't be dismissed. So the Fourth Amendment tries to prevent this. It protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. It's important to note, all searches and seizures without a warrant are initially presumed to be unreasonable. Now, there are many types of searches without a warrant that the courts have recognized. Those will be discussed in Unit 7. So what is a search, and what is the purpose of a search? A search is considered a prying into hidden places. A search of a man's person, a house, or property. Searches are conducted in order to locate persons, contraband, not jail contraband, criminal contraband, fruits of a crime, and tools of a crime, such as a gun used in a bank robbery. The Founding Fathers recognized that sometimes searches and seizures would need to be conducted. They had to ensure only searches and seizures that were reasonable would be conducted, though. So in the Fourth Amendment, they created the requirement for a warrant and what it would have to contain. A warrant must first contain probable cause. Probable cause has been defined as facts and circumstances which would lead a reasonable person to believe a crime had been committed or a person had committed it. Warrants must identify what is to be seized, such as a person or an object, name or describe a person, place, or thing to be searched, and now this involves the who and the where. They must command a police officer to search. It's a magistrate's order. Therefore, it has to also be signed and dated by the magistrate.